It's been an interesting time for all of us in college sports and college basketball in general, but I've had a pretty good summer. I've kind of enjoyed my team, maybe because there's not as many players as I've had. Got a little smaller roster, but at the same time, we needed improvement. We needed a little togetherness. We did a lot of team building things. We did a lot of workouts, stayed pretty injury-free all summer, and then had a couple of injuries, including Jaden Akins, who was out for a couple more weeks, but his was the only one of any serious nature that would last 2 months. I think our biggest improvement, we needed to get better guard play. We felt like last year we just did not handle the ball, take care of the ball, and push the ball like we'd like to. There'll be times this year where we'll have 2 and even 3 point guards in the lineup. Maybe the weakness would be we're going to be very young and inexperienced at center, and every other position I think we're going to be much more experienced. Joey Hauser had a phenomenal summer. I think he was one of those kids that COVID really hit hard. Did not have as good a year as first 2, but has had a great spring, summer, and fall. Malik Hall has done the same. Those are our 2 staples. And the other guy that might have had as good a summer as anybody was Tyson Walker and Jaden Akins. So those guys, I think, have all made big steps. And as big a step as anybody was probably A.J. Hogart, losing some more weight, getting to where I think is the spot he should be, and he's played very well, shooting it better, but played very well. So hopefully our defense improves a little bit. I'm a little worried about our rebounding, and yet I'm excited for what will be the greatest non-conference schedule in Michigan State history, and maybe one of the greater ones that anybody's played, if you ask me. Questions?
Coach, we have back right, last row.
Myron Metcalf, ESPN. Tom, obviously, Coach K retires, and Roy and J. Rad. I think a lot of people look to the next generation and wonder when guys like you know, how much longer you want to do this. How long do you want to do this? How much longer do you want to coach at this level?
I'm going to stand at Myron as long as you're here working, so you and I can have some talks. You know what? I look at it, and I got a lot of years to go to catch Coach K. I got a lot of years to go to catch Jim Boeheim. You know, friends of mine like Tubby and Roy, decided, but I got some years to catch them yet too, so I'm not quite as old as those guys, but I definitely have passed by Jay Wright, and yet one of my good friends and one of the great guys in our profession, and I'm going to do it like Jay did. When it's time that I don't enjoy it, or when it's time that I can't take a red eye from Vegas to Orlando, it'll be time to get out. That is not where I'm at right now in any way, shape, or form. In fact, going through what we went through at Michigan State, some issues a couple of years ago, the COVID, I'm looking at it just the opposite. I've got some things I'd like to accomplish as a coach for Michigan State. I think our league, we have to win another Big Ten championship. We meaning Michigan State, but we meaning the Big Ten. I think there's some exciting things with our league that are happening on campus. Our new athletic director, Alan Haller, and Mel Tucker, I think we got some great things there to build on. So I'd like to make our university better, my program better. And you know what? I've been in this league so long that I'd like to continue to grow the Big Ten into what could be the greatest, I think is the greatest basketball, but I think it could be the greatest conference in the country in all sports. So I got a while yet. You got to put up with me for a little while longer, or maybe better yet, I got to put up with you for a little while longer.
On your left side, Coach, 4th row.
Hey, Tom. John Fanta from Fox Sports. When we had talked a little over a month ago, you talked about the leadership aspect for this team and how that's a bit of a process to figure out. I'm just wondering where that process is at the moment, and you spoke a little bit about how A.J. had as strong of a summer as anyone, how important he is in that department.
Well, he is, because he's got a voice. Sometimes good, sometimes he's got a voice. But AJ is going to be my leader. I mean, I think he's going to be the guy. Number one, the position mandates it. You know, your quarterback's got to be the guy that kind of runs your team. You know, I've been blessed to be at a place. I didn't coach Magic Johnson, but you could argue whether he's one of the top 5 best players. Of course, we think he is, but I think nobody would argue that he might be the best leader that ever played the sport. And then I had the kid, Mateen Cleaves, who in my era was the best leader I ever had, and I still think one of the best leaders that ever played the sport also. What is a leader? A leader is a guy that has the ability to make other players around him better than they actually are. It's not just leading by, I do this, and that thing about lead by example, I hate that phrase. You know, that's such a cop-out phrase. That means you're only taking care of yourself. So I'm looking for guys that want to bring other people with them. And that is still a work in progress for us right now, but we took serious strides this summer. And that's why I got all 5 of my guys here. I thought all 5 of those guys made some strides. Jaden Akins is becoming a better leader, and unfortunately he's been out for now 6 weeks. But I do see that being still a work in progress, but making big progress on it.
On your left side, Coach, third row.
Coach, Kevin Sweeney, Sports Illustrated. You alluded to you only having 10 guys this year on scholarship compared to the full 13 allotment. And maybe that making your life a little bit easier. I'm curious. I've heard from some coaches who say, you're inevitably going to have 10 through 13 upset because they're not playing as many minutes as they would like. Is that something you can kind of strategize with going forward, or just that the guys that were available this spring and that what you felt comfortable with was 10?
Hell, this day and age, from 6 on, they're upset if they're not playing. So we don't have to go to 10 to 13, but there is some truth that, it seems like more people are more unhappy. There's more people talking to more people. I always say we got to keep the distractions and dirtbags away from our guys because there's getting to be a lot more of that. And but at the same time, I've studied Jay Wright a little bit. I remember when I went to the first Final Four with him, not mine, but his, in '09, and we talked after about what it takes to sustain that. And I think he went a little different route, as I did at one point in time. And so then he gathered back what he is, and so have we. And I think what that is still have a culture, still have some chemistry. I think at the end last year, Jay was playing 6 guys, and turned out okay for him. So, I don't know what's going to happen. Practice is a little different, but you're right. You never have 13 guys anymore. It seems like everybody's holding scholarships for whoever knows who or what, where, or why. And I didn't do it for that reason. It just I decided to stick with the people I have, and I'm happy I have.
Final question, second row on your left here.
Coach Abby Schnabel, Wisconsin State Journal. The Big Ten has always been known for its dominant centers in the league, but how important is it specifically this season for teams to have a dominant big man?
Well, there are some really good ones in this league this year. Purdue, Michigan have guys right off the bat. Indiana, Trace, has been very good. But I still think to win championships, you need good guard play. It's kind of been the way it is. I mean, we won a championship with 6'8", 6'7", and what you need is good players. What you need is tough players. What you need that is getting harder to find is mentally tough people. To go on any stretch of winning the Big Ten tournament, which means you got to win 3 or 4 games in a row. To win an NCAA tournament, get to a Final Four, you got to win 4 or 5 or 6 games in a row. You got to be mentally tough. So centers are going to be important. If you talk to the NBA, they seem to be disappearing. Draymond, my guy, is 6'6.5" and playing center half the time in the league. So I think players are important. I think toughness is important. You have guys that are maybe a little small and rebound. But I still think to win championships, your guard play's got to be really good. Centers are important, and they can score it down there. We've got a couple in our league that I think are phenomenal. But guard play is going to be really important when it comes down to it.